In the near future, warring factions of plainclothes robots are fighting over control of cans of live bait, and literally only one cop can keep the peace. That is, if he can survive a grueling training montage of swinging sandbags and perilous dangling. We watched The Bronx Executioner, today on
The is this? So, my favorite thing that I found out this week is that James Kahn, the great actor, from the 70s, Godfather, all of those movies, not only is he active on Twitter...
Oh, in a good way, or?
But in a good way. He's an old white man who, to the best of my knowledge and research, doesn't go around spewing his hateful or outdated comments.
Okay.
No, his Twitter's actually quite delightful.
Okay.
Every single tweet he posts, no matter how big or small it is, it always ends with "end of tweet."
End of tweet.
I discovered this over Christmas with one that just says "Happy Holidays" and two pictures of him from the movie Elf, and then it says "End of tweet."
End of tweet.
There's another one here of someone has found a shirt which is many cons, and he says, "I'm not sure this is supposed to be an ugly sweater or the single greatest piece of clothing ever crafted. Happy Holidays." End of tweet. Here's just a photo of me and Kathy Bates, and here's a thing of misery to remind you that we were in this, and this is just
emojis of a hammer
emoji,
a bird, a heart.
a bird emoji, heart emoji, end of tweet. Here's a smiley face,
end of tweet.
Yup. End of tweet. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes he hasn't even written anything. Here's just a photo. Here's just a photo of me on the set of The Godfather with Francis Ford Coppola. End of tweet.
I have spoken. Just like that guy from Mandalorian.
So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that's funny. Yeah, as far back as you go, that is how James Kahn ends all of his tweet, as if he's under the impression that he's on a CB radio, and people won't be aware of the fact that he's done tweeting if he doesn't immediately let them know.
But he'll never be done tweeting by the looks of things. He's just got a lot of information.
He's got lots of photos of him smiling, hanging out with his grandchildren, but he just wants you to know when the tweet is done.
Over. Yeah. He's taken enough of your time. Well, hello, Kaz.
Hello, Jameson! And hello, you, the listener, however you wish to self-identify, and welcome back to The Fuck Is This, where we dive through DVD bins, sort through streaming apps to find the weird, the bizarre, and the unloved. As we teased earlier, 30 seconds ago, I am your host, Kaz Lascard, and joining me always is my co-host, Jameson Rafter.
Hola!
And speaking of ending things, we're ending the year!
We're ending 2021, thank God. It was a long time coming.
I guess, by default, a slightly better year than 2020.
Yeah, we weren't, we got out of quarantine, briefly.
Yeah, briefly, and now it seems like we might all be going back there fairly soon. It's
only this time we're in a frozen hellhole, which is slightly different than what it was like for us this time last year.
And by frozen hellhole, Jameson means that Vancouver is getting snow like the rest of Canada gets snow. We actually have to have a winter for once.
We actually start looking like the rest of Canada right now.
We're all being huge babies about it.
I was FaceTiming my relatives in Winnipeg over the holidays, and I just mentioned, like, oh yeah, we're expected to go down to like -17, and everyone in Winnipeg is like, oh, poor baby, how do you manage over there?
It is very cold, though.
It is. And Vancouver's not equipped to handle the cold. You know, nobody knows how to drive in the snow. We have, like, 2 snow plows. We run out of rock salts every year.
We keep all of the rock salt in, like, one room in City Hall, and then once it starts snowing, no one can find the key. And it's all like, where did I put that? It's all like, we never use it! I was using it as a drink coaster!
Like, someone just lost the fucking key.
To all the salt,
And all the salts, yeah.
Look, we had to divide the budget one way. It was either pay the teachers or keep a room full of salt for just such an occasion. And this year, the damn education system won out.
Yeah. Well, my sister is a teacher, so she knows how I'm going to vote. And that's more salt, please.
You voted... More salt 2022.
That's right, yeah. She's had it too good for too long.
Well, it's the end of the year, and as we are wont to do our weird little tradition, we are wrapping up this year of Fuck Is This movies by going back to the Italian cinema of...
Post-apocalypse.
We like to call it post-apocalyptic Italian cinema. This kind of barely counts. This kind of barely scratches the surface of that.
It takes place in the not too distant future of 1988 or whatever.
Yeah, we don't necessarily get like an actual year for this one here,
but it is like the least futuristic looking of all of these movies that we've been checking out. The only futuristic thing in this movie are the subject matter of humanoids and androids, like robotic people, even though they're all human. There's nothing robotic about these beings.
The most you ever see of anything relatively like humanoid or other or android or whatnot is near the end someone gets their head kind of ripped off.
They got macaroni on the inside. Macaroni in aluminum foil.
Yeah, and it's just someone removing like a vest or like a piece of Velcro.
Yeah.
And we can see like, oh, someone stuffed some wires down here.
Yeah, but there's no like robotic feats of strength. There's no like the androids have telescopic view eyeballs. That like no one like bends bends a car bumper or
they have the all important android useful tactic of being able to record and play back rape.
Yeah.
in vivid fucking Virtual Boy colors.
Yeah. At least like to censor for our benefit, so we don't have to watch it twice.
Yes, a movie that we are definitely not going to be watching twice is the movie that we're talking about today, 1989's Bronx Executioner.
Speak for yourself, I have seen this a couple of times.
Well,
I warned you, it's kind of boring.
And you'll have to watch it at least one more time to get the editing done here.
Fuck.
Directed by Vannio Amici under the pseudonym, what is it, Bob Peterson?
Something like that.
Like that, yeah. Not necessarily a director. This is the only movie he directed. He was primarily more of an Italian film editor. He edited a bunch of Italian movies, including his most famous credit on IMDb. He is the editor of Troll 2.
Boy, that just keeps finding new ways to get introduced into, or to come back into our life, isn't it? I'm disappointed that documentary about Troll 2 came out before it could interview us, because I think now it's touched us so many different ways.
Let's maybe like step down off of that pedestal a little bit much. It's not like we're like the foremost authorities on Troll 2.
No.
I haven't even seen Troll 2.
Really?
Yeah, why would I? I've already seen like all of like the YouTube clips of like the best parts. Why would I subject myself to watching the entirety of that movie from beginning to end? I already know all of like the keys. I'm just gonna watch it and I'm just gonna be all like, oh, he's saying oh no.
You have to. Much in the same way that like if you don't vote, you don't get to complain about how things are done in your country. Just watch it, all right? Because now I think you don't have any leg to stand on if you were to ever criticize or compare something to Troll 2.
I've seen enough. I've seen the important parts of the movie on YouTube. Fine,
it all comes together in a weird way. So you owe it to yourself to watch it.
I'll have a weekend and I'll marathon the entire series. I'll watch Troll 1, which has nothing to do with Troll 2. I'll watch Troll 2, and then I'll watch Troll 3, which is a movie about trees attacking people. And then I guess I've already seen Ator for Troll
3,
which is also Troll 3 again.
Yeah.
So I'll just be able to rewatch all of that.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that this guy is primarily known as a film editor, because when you watch this movie, there are so many long, drawn-out shots that you just feel like he knew he would probably need to fill in some gaps or like just some extra B-roll, but because he's an editor, he just said, we need like this footage just in case of emergencies. And he's like, oh shit, now I'm the director. Well, we'll just have to throw all in there. He didn't do his own editing for this.
Well, look, let's talk about the obvious thing about this movie. Now, I'm assuming this is something that you know about this movie, Jameson, is that this movie is primarily cobbled together with footage from a completely different movie.
Correct.
Yes. It's a 1984 movie called The Final Executioner, or Final Executioners.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just another Italian post-apocalyptic movie that for some reason this movie has rooted its corpse like a scavenger and picked parts and places and entire performances from a completely different movie that isn't this movie, and re-released it not 5 years after the first movie came out some effect. I don't know what audience didn't see the first movie that is going to get tricked into thinking this is a new movie.
I do know that they brought back one or two of the actors to film like some additional scenes. It's very like Zack Snyder's Justice League in that regard.
They brought back one actor to film new stuff for this, who was Margie Newton, who also plays the character of Margie. But yeah, they had her come back and they had her film new roles for this. They did not pay her for this movie, though, which after you see what she has to do in this movie, rude.
Yeah.
Incredibly rude. Like, I understand you have to cut corners, but if you're hiring an actor back, you better pay them. I don't know how many days she spent on this. I don't know if it was just like incidental shots or whatever, but I guess
something tells me she didn't raise too much of a fight over that. She'd be like, "Oh, motherfuckers, they didn't pay me for like that day of work. Oh, really? You're gonna take him to court about that?" Nah, it's fine.
It's the Italian film industry. It's basically like the Wild West.
I was ready to put this behind me once already.
But like in the case of like the other actors, like there are whole performances in this from people who probably had truly no idea that this movie existed at all until maybe like they were on like a convention late at life and like someone asked them to like sign a copy. It's all like, I'm pretty sure I'm not in this.
And then they watch it. Oh, it's that movie? I thought that was something completely different.
Well, I mean, it's twice as confusing is because they don't even change the titles all that differently. You would be completely justified in assuming that The Bronx Executioner would just be an alternate title for The Final Executioner. But no, apparently they are two completely different movies, kind of, sort of, in the sense that about maybe like 25% of Final Executioner probably finds its way into Bronx Executioner.
You know, why don't you just go by the title of Final Executioner? Because, like, fuck, I don't think any scenes took place in the Bronx.
I mean, exactly. Like, what market are they trying to capitalize on this? Like, 1990 Bronx Warriors. Still the best of these that we have watched.
I'd say so. The funniest that we've watched, at least. You know, I think, like, After the Fall in New York is the best made movie, but, like, I think there's so much ridiculously wrong with Bronx Warrior that like it keeps finding ways into my heart.
Like that movie came out right on the heels of Escape from New York, and that was the market that it was trying to capitalize on.
That and The Warriors.
Yeah, and I think it got a wide enough release, certainly in Italy and other parts of Europe, and then made its way onto VHS and found its way into the homes of unsuspecting genre lovers who are just like, oh, it's like another Snake Plissken movie, and they just kind of bought it and they didn't think too hard about it because the internet didn't exist.
It also helps that it has like two recognizable American actors in it, with Vic Morrow and Fred Williamson.
Absolutely. This movie seems like it's trying to ride the same success story that Bronx Warriors did, except it only has one recognizable American star, but it's like almost 7 years after Escape from New York came out. So what is it trying to capitalize on at all, really, at this point?
The closest thing I can compare this to is maybe Blade Runner.
I mean, there's definitely some Blade Runner archetypes here. Blade Runner is even older than Escape from New York.
Right.
But just the idea of, do androids have souls? Do they dream of electric sheep?
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, like I suppose the main human protagonist that we follow is a detective or he's a cop.
Yeah, he's sort of the Blade Runner of this universe. So it's a little Blade Runner. It's a little Terminator as well, because it is androids and humanoids who look like... let's break this down.
What is the difference between an android and a humanoid, Kaz?
Just, I mean, I'm going to have to look it up, because I don't know the answer. To your thought, what would be the difference between an android and a humanoid be?
I have no earthly idea, but the movie tells us that they can tell each other apart.
Right.
Us humans have no distinction between an android and a humanoid.
So a humanoid is a non-human entity with human form or characteristics. There's some, images here. So I think...
Oh, that creepy robot with the face.
So I think a humanoid is more of like a descriptive term. So there can be humanoid robots, but there can also be humanoid aliens. It's something that is not human, but kind of looks human.
Okay.
An android is just a robotic being.
Yeah, like
that
C-3PO, right?
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily need to look human. It's just all of the androids in this movie look human.
Yes.
And they're not really trying at all. Like,
no.
There's no, like, this is the most, from every conceivable angle, this is the most boring of these Italian movies that we have watched. Just in terms of there's no creativity. There's not really. I mean, like, what was that other one? The new Barbarians.
Yeah,
wasn't very good, but at least that had like a sense of style.
Yeah,
at least it had like weird future cars that looked like the Homer.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone had like goofy outfits on. Yeah, like there was like
there's no budget to this.
There was the overarching story of like this is the post-apocalypse. There are scattered bands of survivors trying to survive in the wasteland. This is just a bunch of people fucking around in a quarry with motorcycles.
Yeah, wearing denim.
Yeah.
And like every once in a while they'll put on maybe like a leather jacket, or like Shark looked like he had like 3 leather jackets kind of like stitched together.
Yeah. I mean, if this is the criteria for what it means to make a sci-fi movie, we could crank out one of these pieces of shit in like a weekend.
We can do better production values than this.
Absolutely.
Like absolutely. I guarantee you, just asking around like the Vancouver theater community, we can find secondhand future clothes that look more impressive than they do. I mean, it'll look like terrible, but it'll be on the same level as like Bronx Warrior or something like this. But yeah, there's nothing really futuristic about this. There's not really like interesting weapons. There's like that one guy.
There's no interesting gadgets. Most of the technology we see is just like shit that was around in the 80s, like radar devices and security cameras. You know, everything's like big and clunky looking, and like the opening of the movie is just like stock footage of an industrial plant.
I mean, I thought we were back in Merlin's castle here or something like that, with all of like these like blooping machines all over the place. Yeah, the opening credits of Bronx. I'm gonna get confused. Bronx Executioner. I'm gonna keep calling it Bronx Warrior probably, but Bronx
I fucking wish this was Bronx Warrior.
So Bronx Executioner, just opening credits, and it's just a bunch of like radar equipment, and then the computer starts narrating to no one.
The last chapter in the evolution of the species has been written. The world is in constant need of new technology for its survival. New beings to assist or replace man as the situation dictates.
And apropos of nothing, they just sort of like bringing that up is all like, why did the computer just start telling us the backstory? They're not even really talking to anybody at this particular thing, and we're showing us like the skyline of New York City, and it's very clearly just modern day 80s New York, because you can still see cars going over the bridge. You can still see like boats in the marina.
Yeah, the world's holding up pretty good despite an android war. Was it actually a war? Because the whole movie takes place in this like sectioned off territory just outside of New York City, where defective androids and humanoid robots, whatever, they are sort of just like dumped there to live like on a reservation, like separate from the rest of New York City. But that makes me wonder, like, these are the defective machines. Does society have functional, capable androids and humanoids living amongst humans?
Great question. Wouldn't know. Never go into the city. No part of Bronx Executioner takes place in the Bronx. Largely because they probably did not shoot this in New York City. This is probably Italian countrysides and quarries is primarily where this movie is shot. And
what is it with them in the Bronx? There's other parts of New York City. So, like the main person that we follow...
I want to see Broadway Executioner now.
Broadway Executioner, yeah. Well, there was the Broadway-themed gang in...
There was, exactly.
One of the better parts of that movie. Yeah.
You can spin these off. We can spin off these groups into different like.
There's more material to mine out of the Bronx Warrior premise. It's just too bad the sequel fucking sucked.
We have not watched the sequel.
We have not watched the sequel.
Why didn't we watch that? Why did we watch Bronx Executioner before we watched the canonical sequel to Bronx Warriors?
Because I don't have it.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair enough.
It's not part of that box set that I have.
Look, before we get into the plot, the all important 20 minutes of plot of fucking Bronx Executioner, we should mention for the first time since our second episode, we are back to watching a movie that has come to Jameson in a cardboard sleeve.
Yeah, in birthday card format. Yeah, part of the dollar DVD collection.
This is absolutely a dollar store thing. The title is just like a close-up of an eye with some like computer
circuitry in there,
stuff in here. It says, androids and humans are living together and everybody's dying to eat? What? I guess there's that one scene where they're fighting over cans of worms.
I suppose, yeah.
I guess that's like somewhat the plot.
There is nothing in this movie that suggests that there's like a food shortage or anything. It's just like the authorities will just airdrop a can of worms or like fish bait for the android
or
seed.
Spoiled food.
Spoiled,
I guess
sure.
the idea is that what that was supposed to be. It's like food that's like long past its sell-by date or whatever, and there's like maggots or whatever crawling in it. I don't know. We only get like a brief shot of it before it's thrown away.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about that scene. Back of the paper sleeve. It's not even cardboard. It is just like
it's a paper sleeve.
Fucking paper. Android gangs battle humans and robotic replicants in the New York City of the near future. Not quite. The sector sheriff must join forces with a gigantic yet unpredictable replicant to save the city. I don't know. He seemed pretty predictable.
He seemed pretty, and they also didn't have to save the city. He
doesn't go anywhere near the city. Well, I guess he saves the city by keeping the battle contained to the outskirts of New York.
The sheriff partners up with this guy for a vendetta. That's it.
Pretty much.
Like the world is not at stake here.
Since we're still talking about DVD covers, if you go to IMDb, this is what I got a very wrong idea about what I was in store for watching this movie based on what the IMDb poster is. I don't know if this is like a shot from what the hell is it called? The Last Executioner? Final Executioner? I don't know if this is a shot from the other movie. I can tell you one thing. This shit doesn't happen in the movie.
Oh shit, that's a Jedi and Jax from Street Fighter, but by way of the Night King? What the fuck?
Well, more importantly, that's an actual fucking android.
Yes.
Is the thing.
We don't see any kind of robotic exoskeleton or anything.
No. I have no idea what sort of shot this is, but this is not from the movie that we watched right now.
That looks like a very interesting movie.
Yes! It looks like a much better movie than the one we had to sit through. What on earth happens in the Bronx Executioner?
So there's this young cop fresh out of the academy. He goes on assignment into this android reserve where he I guess he's just like dropped in the middle of a forest and he has to evade the gunfire.
Yeah, we find him just like wandering through the brush. And it's very humorous.
Being stalked by like some guy with a sniper rifle who always is just like
I don't
with
think
like a couple of yards away from him.
I don't think it's a guy. I think that's just a floating sniper rifle. Because we just see him like wandering through the brush and then like just from like off-camera left, a sniper rifle just kind of
FPS style,
floats into view.
Like you're playing GoldenEye all of a sudden.
Yeah, and it's so funny because he notices the gun. He runs for about like a minute and a half, and then he's all like, "Oh, thank God!" And he turns around, and the gun just floats back up.
Yeah,
and so it's been following him the entire time.
He looped around and got the drop on him. Yeah, but just before he's killed, our cop hero character here is saved by Woody Strode, aka the Black Man.
My name's Warren, but everybody just calls me the Black Man.
All right, let's take a brief sojourn. I know we literally just started talking about the plot, but let's spend a bit of time just talking about Woody Strode. Did you have any idea who Woody Strode was before you watched this movie?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Right. I had kind of heard the name, but you know, when I found out we were doing this, I took a look at him up on Wikipedia, and I discovered that Woody Strode is the most interesting man to have ever lived.
Yeah, probably one of the more prolific actors you may not have heard of to appear on this podcast.
Whose full name is Woodrow Wilson Woolwine Strode.
Hell yeah.
Badass.
WWW Strode. Yeah, so he was a football player who played with Kenny Washington and Jackie Robinson in their college days before those guys went off into fucking pioneers of baseball and legends of the sports community and black athletes. He became an actor and had a long-lasting friendship with director John Ford, who put him in movies like Spartacus and The Ten Commandments and...
Oh. Neither of those movies are John Ford movies.
Oh, they're not?
No.
No, but he probably like went to bat for him and told producers...
He
like,
did.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do the movie side of the recap?
Sure.
Okay.
I know he was he was the title character in Sergeant Rutledge.
He was the title character in Sergeant Rutledge. So yeah, he fought in World War II. Then he came back. He was one of the first black players in the NFL. He played for the LA Rams in 1946. His football career ended after he played for the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, funny enough.
Winning the Grey Cup in 1948. Then he dabbled in pro wrestling for a little bit.
I thought you were doing the movie quote.
Well, I'm just going
You're
through
doing a
all of
sports
this
bar.
here.
You're doing a
I'm
full-on
doing
sports
a sports
bar.
bar. But yeah, so after his pro wrestling thing, he got back into acting for a little while. He got started in movies that sounded racist as fuck.
Yeah.
With titles like Bride of the Gorilla, African Treasure, and Jungle Man-Eaters. It's the fucking 1950s.
Yeah.
You can only, assume that. But, he did get more high-profile roles. Like, yes, as you mentioned, he is the Ethiopian king in the Ten Commandments.
He was the guy who fought Spartacus.
And that was
started the gladiator revolution.
Yes,
yeah.
He was Draba, the gladiator, who, he's about to kill Spartacus, and then he's all like, no, fuck that, nah, and he attacks the slavers, and then he gets killed.
And they sparked the revolution.
Absolutely,
that way. Yeah.
yes. And then, as you say, he was a favorite of John Ford. John Ford cast him in the lead role of Sergeant Rutledge, about a black soldier who is falsely accused of the murder and rape of a white woman. He beat both Sidney Poitier and your close personal friend Harry Belafonte for the role. And then Ford also cast him later on in a couple of other movies, including The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. And then, he was in movies for a while. He moved to Europe. He began starring in Italian movies, which explains why he's here.
He's showing up in here.
He's also in the opening of Once Upon a Time in the West. He's one of the dudes that meets Charles Bronson at the train station at the very beginning.
Yep.
They have a standoff there.
With that cool harmonica sting.
Yep. And he just continued to be in movies. His final movie was The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi's pretty good Western.
Yeah.
I remember that movie being
Yeah,
bad.
Leonardo DiCaprio was in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Also,
that movie was dedicated to him.
that movie was dedicated because it was his final role. He was also a dedicated martial artist in Sai Shindo Kenpo. The Toy Story character Woody was named after him. And his first wife was a Hawaiian princess.
Yeah.
So
well done,
So
sir.
what have you done with your life? Huh? And he is not in this movie. He is 100%. His entire role was lifted from the other movie, and boy, is it obvious.
Oh yeah. So most of his shots are kind of shown over the shoulder. Most of his dialogue, ADR, I might add.
All of his dialogue is ADR.
Yeah, that's but. They don't even fucking film him when his character is speaking. It's just long shots of him giving
with a body double.
Yeah, giving exposition to the white cop character.
James,
yeah, his deputy or whatever, or the rookie who's
ostensibly our hero.
Yeah,
ostensibly the main character of the movie.
Yeah. Woody is not in this movie. He's in there just enough to see his face as he begins talking. And then the rest of the dialogue is just over the shoulder.
Well, he's in my favorite scene, which is the training montage, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
Woody, who goes by the name Warren, but as he says, everybody just calls me the Black Man. And that's not me doing a black guy voice. That's just...
No, that's you doing... That's
doing the ADR
That's
voice.
you doing an accurate impression of the white guy doing the black guy's ADR voice, because, that's very much not what Woody Strode sounded like, I imagine, given his build and general badassery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So he is the grizzled, seasoned cop who oversees the territory. Their job is to make sure that the infighting between the androids and the mandroids or whatever the fuck doesn't spill over outside of this island that they're all on. But also occasionally to go there and kick some ass himself if he feels like it. What was that fucking thing?
I don't know.
They're on
very confusing.
They're on a stakeout as they're watching the robots fight each other, and after the fight's over, he's all right, now stay here and check this out, and he just goes and whoops some ass.
So he establishes earlier that the androids or the mandroids or whoever, one of the
humanoids,
two, they still need to eat, and the government occasionally will drop big food packages, and they like to just watch the two sides squabble over it and fight over it, and Sheriff Woody, who is 100% what we are calling the character from now on.
Yeah.
Sheriff Woody is explaining to James that it's they're just doing that to get this. So we have to make sure that the fighting doesn't get too intense. So we see one of these drops later on. He also points out that most of the food is spoiled and full of maggots or something along the lines. I don't know. So the mandroids,
it's fish bait.
It basically is. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how androids have to eat. This movie certainly isn't interested in showing us how they eat. Maybe it's like a RoboCop thing where they got tubes of baby food inside of them. Who knows?
I don't know. Food scarcity never comes up between any of the conversations between the robot factions.
If androids have to eat, do androids also poop?
Sure.
You can only...
They got exhaust ports, I assume. Yeah. The main thing is that, like, these robots are defective because they are allowed to... They can feel human emotions and anger and shit like that.
So they drop off a big pallet of food, and one of the two teams, I think it's the Mandroids. I know they're the humanoids, but we're calling them Mandroids. We're calling them Sheriff Woody, and we're calling them Mandroids. The Mandroids start rooting through, and they're like, get all the cans you can carry. 4 androids on motorcycles come through. They have a skirmish. The Mandroids beat the androids, and then they immediately go back to, like, hoarding the food for their communities, or their families, or
their faction, whatever.
Their faction, whatever you have, because, you know, they are an oppressed people, and they are trying to, like, feed their community. And then, you know, they fight off the eviler of the two groups, but then once what should be a triumphant moment, Sheriff Woody just rolls out his arm. He just goes, "Hey, watch this," and he goes all like, "Oh, I got a bad stomachache. Help me!"
I'm lost.
Like,
help!
Wait, I know you're the only black man around here, and then he just,
surprise, motherfucker! Pow!
and then he just kicks all of their asses. It's all like, "No food for you." And it's all like, do you not want them to have the food? I thought you're a peacekeeper. Truly, what are you doing? I have no idea what your goal was, Sheriff Woody.
Was he trying to educate young James about what's going on, about, like, the realities of the robots? No, it didn't look like it. He just wanted to show off his ass-kicking abilities.
And if he's just, like, a regular human, why is he, like, stronger and faster than all of, like,
the robots?
Of the robot people.
What is the purpose of these robots if they're not going to be, like, actually, like, superhumanly better than humans?
Why did we create androids?
I don't know.
And how did we create mandroids?
I don't know.
Were androids first and then the mandroids happened?
It's a Coke Pepsi thing. Different recipes, but for essentially the same thing.
What is that? I mean, okay, I know we have defined the difference between android and mandroid. No, sorry, humanoid and android in this sense, but there's no difference in the movie at all. They're just people. They're just regular people walking around.
Yeah, and we as humans would never be able to tell the difference between the two of them.
If there's a warring faction between two humanoid robot people, and
it's news to me.
It's news. You gotta put some shit on the outside of one of them.
Yes.
One of them have to look like the Borg or something to helpfully identify. Because no joke, 50% of this movie is just watching groups of people shooting at each other and falling down, like, the same quarry hill over and over again, and not once are you ever able to tell what side it is.
Yeah.
Because they're dressed the same.
There's no visual mark. And, like, put one in, like, red jumpsuits, the other one's in blue jumpsuits, right?
Just something, some sort of visual language to help us figure out who we're supposed to be fucking rooting for.
They're all dressed like every fucking 80s extra who would get shot in these movies we've even seen.
They just came out of JCPenney. Like, there's no difference.
Yeah. The leaders of the factions have, like, very distinct looks, though.
Yes.
So the two warring sides are managed by Margie, who is dressed like some Martian princess or someone going to the AVN Awards.
Just whatever costume she can fit in to show off her heaving bosoms.
It is not really appropriate for, like, post-apocalypse settings. It's a little too, like, futuristic sci-fi for this movie. I mean, she looks good.
I mean, she's
she
looking
can wear whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Didn't get paid to be naked for most of this movie.
Yeah, standing out in a cold field for most of the movie.
And she's evil.
She's super evil.
Because, and she's got her team of, like, evil, I guess, like, robot henchmen, including her number 2, who, of course, is named Shark, because we can't have one of these movies without a character named,
dumb
like,
nickname
Ice,
like that.
or
Ogre.
Viper, some nonsense like this.
Blade,
Shark, like, for a half second I thought, like, oh, okay, here's a character with, like, a microchip on his face. No, it's just a scar.
Yeah,
but it's like
drawn-on scar.
Yeah, it's, like, fresh too, because the stitches are still in there.
Yeah.
But if he's a fucking android,
he wouldn't
why
need
does
stitching.
he need to fucking stitches fucking, like, thin up? I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, she's super evil. She has, like, a great line. Like, what's her thing? Shark will do anything for Margie because he has, like, an unrequited love for her. She just be toying with his emotions to get her means. But they say, like, do you love him back? And she says, I only love death. Other people's death, of course.
Yeah.
By now, Shark should have flushed them out. Strange he isn't here yet. I think it's strange that you trust him. Why do you? He's in love with me. And he hates the humanoids.
Do you love him?
I only love death. Other people's death, naturally.
Her own death would suck, but anyone else's death
She
she's
did
cool
feel
with.
the need to clarify that.
No, like she's a fucking monster. One of the all-time great female antagonists. And the leader of the other robot gang is Dakar.
The best character.
Yeah, who's just a fucking mountain of a man.
Who should be the main character of this movie. Because I wouldn't say he's the most charismatic, but he's the most interesting person to watch, just by the very nature. He is, like, roughly the size. This movie, it kept reminding me of, I always like to think of, like, when we watched Bronx Warriors, I like to think of, like, the video game spin-off that never happened.
Yeah.
Because it's so perfect for, like,
an old beat 'em up,
like a side-scroller beat 'em up fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be, like, not quite as good as the Bronx Warrior beat 'em up game, but you wouldn't have to change the sprite artwork for Dakar at all, because he is dressed like Mike Hagar from Final Fight.
Yep.
He has a ripped muscle shirt. At a certain point, Dakar, you gotta ask yourself, what time is it to give up on this shirt? Because it's not really a shirt anymore. It is like a piece of fabric that is barely holding on there.
Yeah, he's built like a fucking tank. He definitely has the look of, like, the stage 1 end boss. Like, he's fucking perfect, this guy, and he sounds like Mr. T in his opening couple of lines.
Listen to me. We'll show those skills what we humanoids are made out of. You ready? Okay, let's go.
I felt like the guy doing the voiceover for him, because he's obviously an Italian actor, I felt like the guy doing the voiceover for him tried giving it a little bit of an Arnold every once in a while. Like, whenever he got, like, upset, he's all like, I hate her so much!
She just hates us so much!
Yeah.
He really is, like, the best... Well, not the most interesting,
I'd say he's the most interesting.
Okay, fine. He's a good character. Yeah. You're reinvested in this movie. Also, he takes up fucking half the screen whenever he's around, because he's fucking
He's
massive.
a big screen presence, literally.
He certainly is, yeah.
And he has, like, a thing where he's in love with a human woman
has no name.
Is never introduced.
She shows up midway through the movie to get raped and then shot.
Because if we're playing Italian apocalypse movie bingo, that is always the center square is rape.
Is a rape scene.
And not only does this movie have one, but they show it again.
Yeah, with
like
a weird red filter
10
on.
minutes after we saw the first one.
Yeah, showing in its entirety, which is just, thanks guys. Top marks for that.
Thank you so much, yes. Yeah, so his indeterminate lady human love
lady love,
is raped and murdered by the bad androids, and he's very upset, and he's very mad, and he's very upset at his one friend, Ned. He's just like, shut up, Ned!
Well, Ned's, like, really giving him the gear. Is like, you're a humanoid. You're not supposed to have feelings. Don't you know that you're supposed to be our leader, and we count on you, and here you are looking after a lady that you're not supposed to be in love with.
Keep on looking for her.
Dakar, we need you here. You've got to come back.
Shut up, Ned.
Listen to me. Let me tell you just one thing.
Ned, the girl's too important for me.
And you're too important for our people. We need you, and we need you alive. And there's one other thing. You've got to remember, Dakar. That girl is not for you. There isn't anything between the two of you. There can never be. Whatever you feel for her is just an illusion. You were made to be without feelings. No cold, no heat, no love. You're here because something didn't work. You're a useless machine, a lemon, just like the rest of us. But a machine is what you are, and you can't afford to forget it.
Shut up, Ned!
Shut up, Ned!
Shut up, I'm gonna find her!
Yeah, no, Ned just, like, won't let up. Like, his lady just died, or he's worried about the whereabouts of his lady, and he's like, fuck you, Ned! Yeah, Ned's an asshole. There's a common expression that technology has made the world smaller, and certainly with cases of quarantining and gathering restrictions brought on from the COVID-19 pandemic, it seems our own lives have gotten smaller too. Which was largely why this year, when certain travel restrictions were lifted, I decided I was going to travel again. I was fortunate enough to dedicate some time at the tail end of this year to travel outside of Canada for the first time since the beginning of the pandemic. And on my journeys, I met many friendly locals and fellow travelers who displayed nothing but warmth and kindness to all those around them. And I have to say that after 2 years of social distancing and isolation and general anxiety and unease, It was a refreshing reminder that there is a great big world out there, and there are a ton of good people in it, and that there's more out there than the doom and gloom we see in the news headlines. So when it came time for me to consider a charity to spotlight for this segment, it dawned on me that most of the organizations and causes we've sponsored lately pertain to matters close to home, matters in our own backyard and in and around North America. In the spirit of my recollection of the world outside my home province and my positive experiences stepping outside my borders, I want to highlight something more global. Plan International Canada is part of the world's oldest and largest international development organizations, and their Gifts of Hope program allows you to spend your donations directly to a specific gift intended to help struggling families. From livestock, school supplies, clean water access, and essential health equipment, to entrepreneurial ventures for women and young girls and vitally needed supplies in times of emergency. These gifts help empower struggling families all over the world to start new and positive chapters in their lives. To find out how you can help and to learn more about the gifts you can give, please visit their website at plancanada.ca/giftsofhope. That website again is plancanada.ca/giftsofhope.
So, James wants to be the sheriff for reasons. He's sent there by, like, his government, right?
Yeah.
He got, like, airdropped into
Middle of nowhere.
the battleground.
Yeah.
We have to assume that James is the titular Bronx Executioner.
Sure, yeah.
Well, largely because I think he comes from the Bronx.
Sure.
I mean, he does execute some people, no more,
Yes, he does.
no more or less than
Anybody
the
else.
other people.
Yeah. So yeah, he wants the top job.
He wants Woody's job.
He wants Woody's job, and Woody puts him through the fucking ringer.
They have
like assuming like he's already like passed the academy and like aced all his tests and everything. But he has to pass Woody's test, which involve a lot of sit-ups. A lot of crawling under barbed wire, a lot of like dodging, swinging bags,
just pushing bags. It's very funny because Sheriff Woody is all like, "You're never gonna survive out there. You have to go through trials you can't possibly imagine." And James is just like, "I'm ready for it." He's all like, "Oh, you think you're ready, but you're not ready." And then cuts to James pushing bags. They're just like hanging from ropes, and it's all like, This'll help you when it's a real windy day out. And he's just like crawling shirtless under barbed wire.
He's hanging off of ledges while Sheriff Woody's whapping his hands with a 2x4 or whatever.
And then so there's
like, what is this training him for?
There's two.
What is the purpose of this?
Amazing ADR moments in this movie that are the funniest parts of this movie. So after like a particularly rough day, James isn't able. So there's like the shooting gallery.
Yeah.
Which isn't.
It's like you got to hit all 8 targets. You miss one, and you're off the 4th.
But it's not like one has to imagine it would be easier if they just printed off photos of like bad guys. Like you think like shooting gallery, you think of
shooting gallery,
paper targets, that you would see and stuff like that. This is a slide projector.
This is his home slide projector. 2 of them, like side by side, one after the other.
But yeah, that's the thing is there's just 2 targets. Mm-hmm. So he has like a slide, and then it'll be like click click, and then like the bad guy will like pop into view, and James has to shoot him, and then it'll go click click with the other one, and then it'll go back to the first one, but like he's already shot that target. There's already bullet holes.
Exactly.
I get that it's the apocalypse, and Woody's only working with what he has, but it looks like James hits all these targets.
Yeah.
And then Woody is all like, "Nah, you fucked up."
All right, move away. You just gave up being a sheriff, son. There's no room for mistakes in this job. Tell you this one more time, the last time. You're not cut out for this stuff. Go back home. Goodbye, James.
You'll never do it, kid.
Hit the bricks, kid. You're out of here.
It's the weirdest thing. He's all like, "You'll never do it. You failed definitively.
Go home,
I'm
kid.
sorry. Go home."
Should have quit while you were ahead.
And then James sadly goes back into their hideout, which looks like an office kitchenette.
And a bomb shelter.
That has a big poster on the background of like New York City that makes it look in certain scenes like he's on the set of Late Night with David Letterman. It's very so, like the opening scene where he's in there. I'm like, where is he right now? And then
he's not at the top. He's not at the top floor.
It's just a poster. Yeah, he's in 30 Rock.
Yeah, So he's depressed. He decides he's gonna have a nap next to his
with
gun.
His gun,
with his gun in hand,
cradles his gun like a lover as he sleeps,
like using it as a pillow. And we crossfade, and he wakes up next to a steaming cup of tea. And there's a letter left to him by Warren, or the Sheriff Woody, the black man. And he says, "Well, kid, you pass."
Well, son, school's over. There's nothing more I can teach you. You did just fine, and I'm proud of you. Your reflexes are first rate, and you're in perfect shape. But what made me happiest was your will to win.
I have got nothing left to teach you. You pass with flying colors.
I'm proud of you, son.
I couldn't tell you to your face I'm really bad with goodbyes, so I had to put it in a letter, and I'm gone. I won't be in the movie anymore. Goodbye.
This is my final ADR, kid. Like, here's a badge that's better than the badge you saw me wearing earlier.
It's so
dumb.
It's so funny. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's so many little things about that scene that don't make any sense. He wakes up. Yeah, there's like a steaming hot cup of coffee right next to him that he didn't make. The Sheriff Woody left the letter in front of him, and also he wakes up to like loud banging and clanging or whatever. Never established what that is. Someone's doing something off camera, but
quiet on set.
I mean, we are led to believe that it's Sheriff Woody setting up like the next obstacle course or whatever, but no, Sheriff Woody is out of the movie. He's not coming back.
Yeah,
because they ran out of footage of fucking Woody Strode.
Well, I mean, they could have just like kept the body double, shot him from behind, and ADR'd the rest of the movie with him. Oh yeah, that was fucking ridiculous.
It's a real fucking bowfinger of a fucking movie.
Yeah.
This guy has no idea that he's in this film. Yeah, just get like shots of like Woody Strode in like the catering tent.
Or like placing films of like other of his movies.
Yeah,
he's wearing a cowboy hat in one.
He's fighting an android and then it like cuts away and he's in a gladiator outfit.
So Dakar, he just instinctively knows that his lady love has been raped and murdered because he gets out of the Jeep and hoofs it on foot to the location where she was in the middle of goddamn nowhere.
This movie is barely an hour and a half long, but there is so much fucking padding.
Oh, so much padding.
Like
long
so much of it,
pans of an empty field.
Long shots of people just wandering with guns in their hands.
Yeah.
It's the moment before a fight is about to happen. They just like stay on these characters like wandering around, and Dakar is in his like 18 Jeep like trying to find like his lady love, and then it cuts to him like outside of the Jeep like walking, and then it cuts to him back inside the Jeep
that he left miles away from where she was shot. Yeah, it's like they shot like so much fucking B-roll for this movie, and then they lost like the other footage, and this was all that they had. But I know that this is like just cobbled together from stuff ripped from another movie. But it does seem like this is the additional shit that they shot when they had some extra time. Like an editor thinks they're gonna need.
I'm jumping ahead to the very end here just because it's relevant to what we're talking about here. But one of the biggest laughs in this movie is that when the credits start rolling, the first credit that comes up is the continuity editor, which is hilarious
for a couple of reasons. One, the continuity in this movie sucked.
There was no continuity done on this movie whatsoever. Yeah. So the fact that they framed this person as first and foremost is the first name you see is truly funny.
The continuity credit generally does not come first in film credits.
There's a scene later where Shark and Dakar are fighting, and Shark knocks Dakar down, and then he runs away.
Yeah.
But then it cuts to a hallway, and the first one through the door is Dakar, even though we just saw he was
laying on the ground. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
No continuity in this.
Gotta love it. Well, no, you don't. You don't have to love shit about this. So Dakar goes to Deputy James, like the
white man,
the new sheriff in town. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna call you the white man, huh?
If you're with me, we can win. I'm ready to face all the androids in this world. Thanks, white man. Can I call you that?
No, you can just learn these people's names, actually, you know? So he goes to him and says, I need your help. You know, I have all I have a squad of androids back in my home base, but I specifically want your help. And Detective James goes,
because he had like a thing for Sheriff Woody. Because there was like that thing where like after
he kicks their ass.
After he kicks all of their asses, the one guy gets away and he goes to Dakar. And he's all like, did you get all the food for our people? He's all like,
no, the black man kicked our asses.
And then he immediately turns on the guy. He grabs him. He's all like, don't you touch my black man.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
You be nice to him. You let yourself get beat up by him,
all
right?
Fine. He's all like, okay, what's this all about now?
Yeah, so...
I don't know what these people's relationships are.
They had a special bond, those two, I guess. So yeah, he goes to Sheriff James, asking for himself. Sheriff James says, forget it. But then he remembers what...
oh, God.
He remembers what Sheriff Woody said to him in his letter. This big inspiring thing about, like, if someone asks for your help, you do everything in your power to help them.
But this is the most amazing thing, because he's talking to Dakar one-on-one. He's, like, looking right at him. And then he turns his head to the side.
Recalls the words. And in real time, we hear the voiceover again. And Dakar's just kind of looking at him like, hey, buddy, you still there? You still with me?
Yeah, so in
like the lights are on, but nobody's home.
Real, actual time, this guy, like, this conversation would have gone, like, James is talking to Dakar, and he's just going all like, forget it, man, I'm never gonna help you. And then he just stares at the wall for 30 uninterrupted seconds.
Hey, buddy, you with me still?
And then he turns back to Dakar and is all like, all right, I'll help you.
Just like in real life.
Dakar doesn't move either.
Yeah.
It's so wild. Like, Dakar doesn't react to him, like, staring at the wall. They were both just, like, completely emotionless the entire time.
Those two socially awkward fucks. Like, Dakar should have just been like...
But they don't...
Like, all right, fuck you, whatever, man.
But they don't, like, freeze the frame or anything like that. It's just the two actors just, like, standing there staring at nothing. It's great. That's the best part of the movie.
It's fucking hilarious, yeah. But... So that's fucking weird. So it's his duty as a police officer to assist anyone who comes to him for help. What if Margie got to him first and asked for his help? Would he be on her side then?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
I don't know what anyone wants. I don't know what the point of anything
Dakar
is.
wants revenge for the murder of his girlfriend.
Before? Because they were fighting before. They wanted to wipe each other out.
Yeah.
I assume.
The rights to the food that was airdropped in on them, I don't know.
I don't even know why they're fighting. I don't know the difference between an android and a mandroid.
They're defective robots. And their defection makes them hate each other and fight each other.
Seemed like they were working pretty good to me. If they are indistinguishable from humans, that's a good robot.
Yeah.
That ain't defective at all. You've actually made robots too good, is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the problem with this movie. The robots they're too good.
Come to think of it, Jameson, that is the plot of Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So I guess
this is a Blade Runner knockoff, folks.
This is the sci-fi movie that they're ripping off.
Complete with the fake fucking saxophone music that plays in somber moments.
This music is off the chain.
It's all over the place.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, sometimes it sounds like a PS1 game. Sometimes it sounds like an NES game.
Sometimes it sounds like the movie Drive.
Sometimes it's straight up just elevator music.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are, like, weird scenes where, like, the bad guys get on their motorcycles and they start driving around, and it's like this, like, hot 80s saxophone, like, riff that doesn't match with what they're doing. And yeah, it does recall fucking real human being from Drive in certain points.
Very out of place, just like most of the things in this fucking movie.
So Margie, I guess using her android eyes or something, has recorded the rape. And is playing it back. All of her henchmen are watching it, and she's all like, violence excites me.
Oh yeah, she's getting real hot under the collar for this, and she's like, well, I'm horny. Time for bed. And she just leaves everyone.
And we were super worried that there was going to be another rape, because Shark's got a thing for Margie. Margie doesn't like Shark. She's got like another boy toy named like Frank or whatever that we assume was Shark, because this movie looks like garbage and we can't tell one character from another. But yeah, I guess these androids get super horny through violence. Maybe that's why she's so evil. Maybe she's just like horned up.
Yeah.
All the time, and she's just all like, kill all of them so I can fucking
get off,
orgasm. My fucking like fucking robot orgasm, fucking like shoot like motor oil.
Stop looking at me when you say this, Cass. Jesus.
Unbroken eye contact.
Robot orgy orgasm. So yeah, she gets into her nice negligee. She goes to her very fancy bedroom with the silken sheets. There's a lot of sensual touching between her and her boyfriend, and then we are cut jarringly to Dakar choking out a dude.
All of these Italian B movies have like these amazing fuck beds.
Yeah.
With like
the Italians know what's up.
Yeah, that's just like a regular Italian bed. Like,
Yeah.
It just has like 4 like Grecian pillars and like flowing curtains that like open. It doesn't matter how shitty the apocalypse is.
The bedrooms are immaculate.
How scarce the resources is. Yeah, the bedrooms always look fucking amazing. Like even that tent that Fred Williamson had.
Oh,
in
the
fucking
fully
Newport
carpeted
River.
like from
Yeah,
wall to ceiling.
that shit was amazing. It doesn't matter how fucking terrible things are. The beds are always immaculate and they're always ready for sex at a moment's notice.
I'll say this about the post-apocalypse. Looks like people can get a good night's sleep anywhere you go.
They got their priorities in check, yeah.
Yeah, so the rest of the movie is just long, drawn-out footage of people sneaking around a villa.
Like one of like those Bronx castles that
you see so often.
Yeah, apparently there are like about 25 castles in New York.
That we just don't know about.
Yes.
Yeah, outside of like Manhattan proper and shit, right? Yeah.
But like I imagine there's a difference between a New York castle and a lush Italian villa, which this clearly is. This is where the rest of the movie fucking takes place.
Lush and also barren. There is no furniture. There are no paintings. There's fucking nothing inside this castle. To the point where like
paintings, there was like some weird mermaids.
There was one painting of weird mermaids.
Yeah.
The rest is just like, okay, this is clearly being used for like a music video shoot later on.
Well, because the other parts of it were like clearly some sort of like refinery or something.
Yeah.
Lots of like
dual parts villa and refinery.
Yeah.
that's the climax of this movie.
That was what they were able to hire for the weekend.
Man, the shootouts in that villa were fucking boring as shit.
Lets loose 2 of her attack dogs that I guess maybe are android dogs because they have like collars on them or whatever. So she lets these dogs loose, and the dogs chase after Dakar.
Well, eventually,
and 15 minutes later,
eventually they chase after him. We should have fucking been timing between when the dogs are established to when the dog attack actually happens.
15 minutes is a bit of an exaggeration.
It's close.
I would guess it's about 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, if
it
that.
takes that long.
Yeah, on the later end of like 7 or 8 minutes. Yeah. Holy shit.
And one of the dogs just straight up disappears.
Yep.
One dog attacks Dakar,
and he chokes it out.
He chokes it out, but
really, like he's hugging a very.
He's just hugging it. He's just once again we got like very friendly, lovable dogs going like, "Oh hey, what's going on? Lots of people.
Hello, my human friend."
Yeah, and they're supposed to be like vicious guard dogs, and then the poor actor playing Dakar, yeah, he's just like giving this dog a big bear hug, and we're led to believe that he like snapped the dog's neck at some point, but the camera is like right up in his face, so we can't.
We never see the dog wagging its tail or licking his face or anything, which is likely what's happening.
Oh yeah, that dog's having a great day.
These are really cute, friendly dogs.
Yes,
they
always are.
Yeah, that's the best part of being in these shitty movies.
Yeah,
but yeah, you could. Hey, film editor turned director, you can cut the dog chase sequence. Holy shit!
Don't cut it out. You just don't need it. Just doesn't need to be as long as it is. But then again, if he did that, the movie would be 40 minutes long.
True. Yeah.
How much new footage do you think he shot?
Like
we would have to watch the final Executioner to find out how much of this he borrowed from the other thing, because Margie Newton or whoever is also in that movie as well.
Man, I'm not doing this again.
Oh yeah, I'm not watching that.
You know what footage absolutely seemed like sort of an additional thing and totally unnecessary? There's a shot where like it looks like an actor is just like chilling on break, grabbing a mint.
He's just grabbing a mint. He just puts a mint in his mouth.
And the camera zooms on him, and then he like kind of looks at the camera, huh? And then it cuts away.
It was vitally important to know that guy,
this nameless goon,
forgot to take his fucking medication earlier. I think put that in there.
Yeah.
Oh god, what the fuck is it? We're really reaching here because there's very little to fucking talk about.
Well, there's very little of the movie fucking left. Jesus. Yeah, there's a fight between Shark and Dakar that's quite lame. Great combat between a pitchfork and a bamboo staff.
Maybe the most exciting, interesting, and impressive stunt.
Oh yeah,
happens with the female android who runs away. She gets away on a motorcycle, and then she's shot by a shotgun. And then there's like a brief shot of a stunt person on fire driving the motorcycle, and they kind of fall off of the motorcycle. But it's only just the briefest of moments, but still, you know, someone set themselves on fire and then rode a motorcycle, and I have to applaud them for that at the very least. Who knows if it's from this movie? It might be from the other movie.
I'm certainly not going to applaud the continuity editor for this one, because she's driving away on the motorcycle in the middle of a, you know, of a park or a garden or whatever, and then it cuts to a dude in a mask inside the castle shooting a shotgun at her, and yeah, then she's on fire in the park again. Yeah. You know, like, yeah, someone from a different movie shot her.
Like, yeah, Dakar and James storm the castle, and they have, like, some of his soldiers with them, and then some of the other soldiers are wearing ski masks, and you pointed out that, like, there's no reason why they wear ski masks. They're trying to protect their identity. You pointed out it's probably because it's the actors playing the bad android.
Yeah,
because they couldn't afford anyone else.
Yeah, the guy who played Shark had dual roles.
Margie is in there.
Yeah.
She's all bulked up with, like, a couple of jackets. Yeah. So you can't tell
long
it's
pants
her.
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was like a really stupid part where detective, whatever, cop James, he's shooting down this long hallway, these doorways in the hallway where people jump out, just like in the slide projector shooting gallery. Yeah. So his training fucking paid off for
So it looks like Lethal Enforcers, the video game. Someone will come out and stop and point a gun at him just long enough for the animation to be all like, you got me.
Yeah. And then he returns to cover and just rinse and repeat for like 5 or 6 fucking times.
And then Dakar rips Shark's head or chest open.
Yeah, we see the aluminum foil. And then Margie comes out in her negligee, kills Dakar, like shoots him in the back. Captain James shoots her dead.
Yeah, for like the two like leader of like the opposite like robot forces or whatever, they both have very lame deaths.
Very anticlimactic.
Very
yes.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, no showdown between them whatsoever.
I mean, there's not even any good gore or violence in this movie. It's just not like visually interesting.
I mean, like am I remembering this right? Where like the gunfire in the quarry shootout at the start of the movie, there were some squibs. I think.
I don't think you're remembering that right, because I certainly don't remember any cool. I just remember a lot of people falling over, falling the wrong way, falling the opposite direction of how a bullet would enter their body from the position where they got shot from.
Honestly, the only thing I really truly remember from those fight scenes are the gunfighter stances that Shark would do.
Shark is doing some good gunfighter stances.
He's doing like the rock star pose with the legs apart.
That's how he got the role.
Yeah.
Well, like, I can do the splits, and it's all like, oh, is there any way you can do the splits while you're firing a gun? He's all like, fuck yeah, I can.
You should bet your ass I can.
Bet your ass.
Yeah. But yeah, there should be like some kind of confrontation between Dakar and Margie. You know, like they've had opposing ideologies since the start of the movie. They're longtime enemies. She killed his lady love. There's nothing. There's no dialogue between these two characters.
The movie just ends, and Dakar...
It's like, things I've seen, like, lost like tears in the rain.
And he tells James, I always wanted to be like you, someone I've only known for...
like a half a
day and a half. And then James places his badge
on his chest. You know, the badge that he sought.
So I guess he's not the sheriff anymore.
He trained so hard to get, and he coveted this assignment, but fuck it. This dead guy will need my badge.
I guess we wiped them all out. We wiped out all the robots. There's none left because both of their leaders are dead, and that's how they were. It works like ant colonies if the leaders aren't around. So that's the end of this stupid fucking movie. And God, is there anything else to talk about?
Let's have a look at the notes here. Let's see. I got cinematography sucked. There's shots of Woody's ass. He's in this.
Shots of Woody's ass.
He's in the way of a lens flare. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there's like a shot of like Dakar in his Jeep or whatever where he's talking to fucking Nate on the phone, and like the entire shot is the sun directly in your eyes the entire time. That's not even lens flare at that point. That's just
the sun.
That's sun flare.
That's shooting directly into the sunlight. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there is a when Dakar goes to help his friends who are getting massacred by Margie and her crew, he gets out of the Jeep. Instead of giving chase, he tries to take a couple of pot shots at him with a shotgun. That was kind of funny. One dude had a 5-barreled gun.
Yeah, that was the most interesting, like, future weapon in the movie, and it wasn't even that cool. What was its practicality? He never shoots 5 bullets at the same time.
Because that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
If like at one shot you could fire 5 bullets simultaneously, instead just the main center barrel will shoot something. So what is the purpose of these other ones? Maybe it's a multi-tool. like maybe one of them has like a screwdriver.
He
One
opens
has
his
a can opener.
of worms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Control Room Jones. There's a character named Control Room Jones.
Well, his name is Jones, and he lives in a control room. But they said like control room, and then they said Jones back to back. So we were just under the impression that this character's name is Control Room.
Control Room Jones. That's what they call me. That's really fucking everything I gotta
Just
talk.
imagine like they have to eat like this wormy food and everything like that. And they have like the one can opener multi-tool on the end of that guy's gun, and I just imagine like every time he like opens the can, like there's like worms inside. It's all like, oh, I shouldn't have opened this can. It's just all like, shut up, Frank. You say that every fucking time. It's not funny anymore. We know there's worms inside the can. We know it's a can of worms.
all
we
the time.
know it. Shut up. It's the future.
Shut up, Frank.
It's the future, and it sucks.
I can't take it anymore. I can't eat worms anymore. That's when they have their nervous breakdown. Oh, Kaz, you got anything else you want to say
Is there
about
any
this?
trivia associated with this movie that like is kind of interesting to point out? I don't know.
I don't know. I wrote down some of the names of the other movies this director has edited. One of them is called Video Porno.
That's sounds like another movie we probably should have been watching instead of this one.
I think I might have seen that.
No.
Well, I think I've seen a porn.
I mean, here's a VHS cover. It's got Shark doing his fucking
stance.
Shark is very prominent on this movie.
You would think he was the main guy.
Like, it's like 80% Shark. Well, to be fair, he does like the coolest stances.
Was he a big guy?
Look, here's like another one where Shark is
like front and center.
Shark is front and center.
And hey, there's Woody Strode too.
Woody Strode, and then that's if I'm not mistaken, that's Mint Guy.
Yeah.
So like the star of this movie,
no Dakar, who's like
not anywhere on this. So yeah, none of the posters for this accurately show any of the heroes.
They don't even have Margine or skimpy outfit on these covers.
No, Shark is played by Chuck Valenti, who has 2 credits.
Oh.
The other one is for something called The Red Monks. Yeah, James is played by Gabrielle Gorey, who has 23 credits.
Oh.
Nothing that you would have recognized. Margie Newton, of course. I'm curious as to what movie this is from.
Oh, Jesus.
She looks like a little puppy in that. Oh, that's
Howling 3.
That's a movie called Hell of the Living Dead. She's in that. Oh, she also was in one of Lou Ferrigno's Hercules movies.
Ah.
And then Dakar is played by Alex Vitale. Oh, who was in Robot Jocks, which is a very fun
I like that
Stuart Gordon movie.
Yeah, good practical effects in that.
And then like a couple of other things. Oh, he's also in Hands of Steel.
Oh, featuring our old friend George Eastman.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's uncredited in that movie, but that's his first movie. But
we can't review that because the Red Letter Media guys did that one already.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If there was a writing on the wall, it might be that perhaps it's time to close the book on this particular tradition and start some new ones.
Yes.
Because we're just sort of repeating ourselves now when it comes to these Italian B movies.
They've been diminishing in quality, have they not?
No, this is easily the worst one that we've watched so far.
It's boring.
There's no George Eastman.
There's no That's the missing ingredient.
That's the biggest flaw. There's no George Eastman. There's no Fred Williamson. Woody Strode is a good...
Enzo G. Castellari didn't direct it, yeah.
Woody Strode is a good replacement for Fred Williamson. It would help if he was actually in this. It's kind of a crime.
Yeah.
In the sense that Woody Strode is in this, and I don't think he was paid. I don't think any of the actors were paid.
He was basically from another movie and then Shanghai
and
brought into this. And that's not an offensive term, is it? Shanghai?
Let's
you
know what? Let's be safe and say all terms are offensive.
He was basically hijacked from another movie to be in this one.
Yeah,
and
that's offensive to people named Jack, though.
Oh well, sorry, Jack.
Yeah.
This sucked. I hated it.
Watch anything.
I'm never watching this again. But I will keep it with my box set of post-apocalypse movies because hey, that box advertised fucking 4, and I got cheated. I got cheated out of it. But this, in its convenient birthday card format, can slip right between the DVDs in that box set. No problem.
It's a fun thing to have. It's a fun artifact.
Yes.
But yeah, you definitely don't need to watch it more than once.
Mm-hmm. So we got to figure out like a new thing to end off the year on, unless we find a really great post-apocalypse Italian movie.
Oh, I'm sure we can.
We should start doing sword and sorcery movies at the end of the year, like Ator movies.
Yeah, we can get back into like the Ator thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's Italian adjacent.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
well, that's for next year.
but-
You'll find out next year,
you'll
folks.
find out next year, and who knows what the new year will bring. Who
Mhm.
knows what the new year will bring for this podcast?
Mhm.
Could it bring some interesting changes to the format of this podcast? Who knows? Are there things we have been discussing off mic, perhaps that you might see in the near future of 2022?
When we have humanoids and androids coexisting with us. By then, you'll know that we may have a new format. For our show.
I didn't want to start off the podcast with this, but I did want to. I eventually probably should have brought this up at some point.
You're an android?
I've been a humanoid this entire time.
You know, you could have fooled me. I would never have known.
Now,
And
you
know
want
what?
to know what the difference is? Is that there's a human element to it. We get horny when violence happens.
Oh boy.
Or maybe that's the other ones.
I don't know.
I don't even
know.
know.
Kaz, it doesn't matter because what's in here is what matters.
Circuits and parts.
There you go. Yeah.
And gears and
Doesn't
wires.
matter what you look like on the outside. You know, whatever. Where you are, what you came from. You're my friend, and I love you.
Is that what the Noid is? Is
he a robot?
Is the Noid a humanoid type robot?
Well, I don't know.
And that's why he hates pizzas, because he only likes...
Because he can't feast on them?
He only eats worms?
Do people even know what the Noid is anymore?
He came back briefly.
He did?
For like one commercial.
I thought we were supposed to avoid the Noid.
They couldn't avoid him.
You
can't avoid him
not
forever.
For too long.
There's like certain
like
things...
a grip, he just finds his way back into our lives.
There's certain things you can't avoid forever. Death, taxes, and the Noid.
Oh God, he's back. Thought we were rid of him forever. Kaz, you got anything you want to recommend to the folks at home?
Well, it's the end of the year, and
yes.
I have a podcast, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, even though this will definitely end up being one of our shortest episodes ever.
Mercifully so.
But I thought I would just kind of like run through my end of the year list of the things that I enjoyed. I have like a couple of like brief top 10 lists here. I won't spend like forever going into this, but I listened to a ton of albums this year. There's a lot of this year. I listened to a lot more new music than I normally do in any other years. So I think I've narrowed down like a pretty decent little top 10 favorite albums of the year. So I'll just kind of like throw this together real quick. Number 10, I'll go with Sleaford Mods, Spare Ribs. That's a very cool kind of like. Oh God, I don't even know how to like describe this shit. I don't know. Just look this shit up. Because I'm not going to be able to talk about this at any length. So yeah, Sleaford Mods, Silk Sonic. That's a great album. That's one of like the coolest albums of the year. I loved Montero by Lil Nas X. I listened to that a bunch. Lucy Dacus. What's her album called? Home Video. The new Churches album, Screen Violence. That's a really good album. That's like really kind of like creepy. Girl in Red, her debut album, If I Could Make It Go Quiet. That's a really interesting artist. The new Modest Mouse album, The Golden Casket. That's fantastic. The Jasmine Sullivan album, Hotels. That's a fantastic R&B album. What is that one called? Collapsed into Sunbeams by Arlo Parks. That's a fantastic little indie pop album. Maybe my favorite album of the year is Japanese Breakfast, which is Jubilee. That's a band that I really got into this year. I think that's fantastic. Top 10 movies. I'll do that.
Oh man, I'm just thinking of all the images I'm gonna have to track down for this sequence.
Maybe I'll like throw it together in like a collage for you.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll make things easier.
Thank you.
Okay, really quick. My top 10 movies of the year. Number 10 is Fortune Favors Lady Nikiko, which is like an anime movie that I saw at the Vancouver Film Festival. I don't think that's gotten like a wide release yet, so watch out for that one when it comes out. Number 9 is Red Rocket, which is the new Sean Baker movie, which is about just a real scumbag, but I love that. Sean Baker always makes movies about scummy white trash. Number 8 would be French Exit, which is a fantastic Michelle Pfeiffer movie. I thought it was the better Wes Anderson movie than the actual Wes Anderson movie that came out this year. Riders of Justice, which is the new Mads Mikkelsen movie where he goes on like a roaring rampage of revenge, but it's actually kind of like more of like a serious drama as well too. There's lots of surprises in that movie. That movie is pretty badass. I'm throwing The Suicide Squad on there because I didn't have more fun at a single movie this year than I did with that one. That movie is just like fun from beginning to end. I loved No Sudden Move, which is the new Steven Soderbergh that has this amazing cast with Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro and Brendan Fraser and Ray Liotta, just like a dozen other people. That's just like a great crime noir. I love that movie so much. I didn't mind that it looked like absolute. That's a movie that looks terrible. Like the cinematography is like bad because he shot it on a cell phone because that's what he loves doing now. But like the plot of that is so good. I enjoyed that so much. I didn't mind that it looked like garbage. My favorite documentary was Street Gang, How We Got to Sesame Street. Could have been 8 hours. Wasn't enough of that. I could have watched 2 hours just on the music alone. Bergman Island, which is a fantastic movie that stops midway through and says to you, hey, I've got this idea for a movie, and then it becomes a sublime movie, and then the two movies turn into a third, even better movie. It's kind of amazing. Come On, I talked about that one recently. That's the new black and white Mike Mills movie with Joaquin Phoenix. That's fantastic. Benedetta, which is the new movie by Paul Verhoeven, the director of RoboCop and Starship Troopers. That movie is fucking awesome. That is a movie about lesbian nuns who fuck each other with Virgin Mary dildos. That is a movie.
Huh?
That is a
Yeah, because I've been tuning you
Yes,
out, but
but
you got me. You got me back.
I brought it back.
Bud.
That is a movie where Jesus Christ violently murders people with a fucking sword. That movie rocks. That movie is awesome. And I think my favorite movie of the year is a movie I've mentioned on this podcast before. Pig! The Nicolas Cage movie, that's my favorite movie of the year. If you haven't seen Pig yet, you gotta go watch that. Alright, that ate up some time. That ate up like a good 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
This was a short
That was
episode.
enough. That was enough time to release the dogs. We could have actually rewatched that sequence.
The dogs are still 3 minutes away from this point right here.
Actually, fair. I think that entire sequence took less time than it took from the dogs to actually attack the car.
Jameson, what one thing do you want to recommend? Recommend a bunch of shit. It's the end of the year. We gotta fill this shit up.
No, we took up enough people's time. No, I haven't been watching too many films this year. I've been more or less watching a lot of series. Really spending a lot of time working on the Bigfoot cartoon. So I don't what could I recommend? I saw the Disney Plus Marvel shows. They're had varying degrees of
recommend that thing that everyone has watched already.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm mostly just watching shit to keep up with the Joneses.
Yes.
Let's see, what could lately I've been out of the country. I went to LA and Puerto Vallarta, and I had a great time at both those cities. I could recommend a couple of restaurants that I went to there. There was a really good ramen place that name escapes me from LA. There's this one good breakfast joint called Medrata Bar. Yeah, really.
That's a great name.
Yep. I went with our buddy Zach, and he's got his finger on the pulse of the karaoke scene down there already. So
of course he does.
So I got.
How long has he been down there? He
3 months, and
he's like King Karaoke at
exactly.
this point. Why am I not surprised?
So I had a good time at Brass Monkey there, and our bar, I think it's called. Oh, and I went to the legendary Rainbow Bar in LA and out in Santa Monica. That was a great place. Got a picture taken with Lemmy. Puerto Vallarta has some really good places. Margaritaville was this one place.
They just have the corpse of Lemmy, just
it's a statue.
Like
they got a statue
like
of
Lenin. Like they've just preserved his body.
It's
and
a
he's
statue.
Just
it's a statue because he was a fucking regular at that bar, and there's got some metal legitimacy there. I don't know. Check out these cities, and if you are living in those cities, you're very fortunate. Love those parts of town. Really liked Venice Beach when I was there. Have to go back. Yeah, that's what I'm recommending.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lemmy probably put enough stuff in his body that his body probably is preserved like Lenin, and they don't have to do much for him.
Mm-hmm.
That was his last wish, just prop me up in this corner over here and fuck off.
And don't forget the Joker. Yeah.
And that's how we're going out. That's 2021.
I suppose it is.
And
yeah.
Don't forget
The Joker.
Yeah. Played by Jared Leto. And that was Bronx Executioner from 1989, directed by Vannio Amici. If you liked this episode and you want to hear more, follow us on Facebook at The Fuck Is This, and Instagram at The F Is This Podcast, and on Twitter at...
Oh, you don't remember this?
I don't know.
It's the F_is this.
That's why I'm bringing you into the final rundown.
Okay, yeah.
All right, cool. If you're watching this on YouTube, listen to us on Spotify. If you're listening to us on Spotify, watch us on YouTube. And to take us out for the year, Jameson Rafter.
Quit while you're ahead.
Oh, that's quit while you're alive.
Oh, is that the line? Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
It's even funnier, too, because it doesn't make any sense. Quit while you're alive.
Okay. Well, listener, quit while you're alive.
Here we go.
All right. Fuck, I should have quit while I was ahead.
I should have, yeah. We should have quit while we were both alive, too.
Yeah. 2021, baby, in the
Because
can.
I've slipped poison into our drinks!
Oh, shit.